Spartans! What is your profession?
Tired of your sad excuses, no more desperate pleas. Turning backs on sorrow, can't bow to your disease. You wallow in your pity, but we're now standing tall. No more feeling sorry while you've built yourself a wall. Stop pointing fingers, it's a circle of deceit. You've painted your own picture, now feel your own defeat. Broken mirrors show no mercy, they've been cracked for years. We're done with your reflection and your crocodile tears. No more blame, no more shame, we won't feed your game. You played your cards, you took your chance, now live with your own name. Broken dreams and empty cries won't sway us anymore. Pack your bags and walk away, we're locking up the door. You say the world's against you, but look inside yourself. The answers you've been seeking aren't in somebody else. Wake up from your slumber, no more stories that you weave. We're cutting ties with shadows, we're the ones who now believe. Marching forward, power strong, we've seen through all your lies. We're walking on with heads held high and now we finally rise. No more drowning in your sorrow, we cannot dive that deep. We're swimming in our future, leaving all the muck you keep. No more blame, no more shame, we won't feed your game. You played your cards, you took your chance, now live with your own name. Broken dreams and empty cries won't sway us anymore. Pack your bags and walk away, we're locking up the door. No more blame, no more shame, we won't feed your game. You played your cards, you took your chance, now live with your own name. Broken dreams and empty cries won't sway us anymore. Pack your bags and walk away, we're locking up the door.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully everyone is doing swimmingly. Oh, give me a, oh my God. I tell you, these settings, they normally just, all right, we're good. Had to turn on the echo cancellation to make sure the sound is sounding good. How is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is doing well as we are almost to the end of the week. Hopefully your week is going absolutely phenomenal. My week has been super duper busy with so many different moving pieces, but here we are. We are in it to win it. We do not miss. Tonight, we're doing a slight bit of a pivot to something else. We're going to be learning, and I'm going to take you down the way that my mind works when learning new things. We're going to be looking into what the RAG is. RAG? Have you heard of RAG? So it stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. What does that mean? I don't know. But we're going to find out together because it is one of the next big things in the tech space. My guy, Wave Nerd, he just goes on and on and on about it. And I'm like, all right. Wave Nerd, you got me. I surrender. I'm going to look into it. And so the way that I learn it, we're going to find out what it is, how we can use it in something that we're doing. Because for me, the best way to learn is by doing. I tried watching some YouTube videos, like, okay, all right, cool, yeah. I understand. I have an idea what it is, but until I actually get my hands on it, until I actually test drive the car, it's not gonna work for me. It is not going to work for me.
Bruh.
All right, so that's the plan. We're gonna be looking into and learning about retrieval augmented generation. Right. So the game plan is going to be what it is. And I'm gonna look at like how does it apply? How can you apply it to cybersecurity? And then I'm gonna share what's gonna be my strategy for learning it, which is a strategy that I used to learn a lot of different things. And then we're gonna start seeing if we can actually start building something, see what we can do with it, all that good stuff. So what we've done in the past few weeks, past few months, we learned about reconnaissance for ethical hacking and penetration testing. We learned about scanning. We built a port scanner. We started looking into vulnerability analysis last week. We're going to continue with it probably next week. But I didn't want to do a slight pivot to start looking into this retrieval augmented generation, RAG, and see how does it apply to cybersecurity? How does it apply to ethical hacking? And what can we do? And go from there. So that's going to be the plan for today. You're going to see how I go and look it up and how I'm going to process it. All of that good stuff. So you get a twofer. All right. Let me get these banners up real quick. All right. Welcome to the show. All right. So that's the plan. Let's jump into the agenda really quick before we get to the chat, get to our icebreaker, and then get to work. Okay. So first and very foremost, I gotta say a big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel. You do not have to be here, but you choose to be. And for that, I truly thank you. Those who have been with me for a very long time, those who check in, those who are brand new, those who watch from the clouds, and those who are very active in the chat and in the comments. I appreciate every single last one of you.
I appreciate you.
And shout out to the Patreon members, the tech barbarians, tech prodigy, technical explorers. Shout out to all of you who are putting in the work every single day. Like I said, we're going to be working on a project in the Patreon, in the Discord, where it's going to be a Patreon-led, those who want to participate, a Patreon-led building an app. And we'll slow cook it. Every other week we meet up and you guys come up with your features, and then we vibe code it together, and we go from there, right? So and you get to see how prompting works, because I sent a friend of mine a video today about how prompting is one of the most important things, but 99% of people get it wrong. Learn how to prompt like the 1%. And the lady in the video said most people prompt with less than 9 words. Imagine that. Most people prompt with less than 9 words. Wavener sent me a prompt the other day. It was like a book. It was like a small, like a short story. I was like, let's go. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna do a lot of different things in the Patreon. So we're gonna be working on building a little app together, maybe about an hour and a half every other week, and we'll go from there. Okay. But yeah. So shout out to all the Patreon members, and shout out to my tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube members that allow me to become on YouTube day in and day out. Let's get it. All right. Upcoming shows tomorrow. We have the bug bite. We're going to be talking about a Pi hack that was affecting Discord, I believe. So you definitely want to tune into that. It's going to be at noon Eastern time. Really good. I was shocked by what was being done by this Discord hack. If you use Discord, be careful, be aware. And then Sunday, we're going to be going live with our DevOps course. We're going to continue with our Kubernetes. We're going to continue using, I have to re-up my Devin, but we're going to continue using Devin to help us solve not our Terraform issues, but our Kubernetes issues with our secrets. So Devin got us a good chunk of the way on last Sunday. We're going to hopefully have Devin help us wrap it up this coming Sunday. All right. So a lot of good things happening. Looking forward to seeing you all over the place. All right. Before I get to the comments, do me a big favor. If you haven't done so already, right? Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. Go to techcoachralph.dev. You can sign up and you can come and vibe code with me in the Team Tech Coach Ralph Patreon and Discord, where I will be taking direction from you. You guys come up with what you want to build, and I will do the work to build it. I'll fund it and all that good stuff. You just tell me what you want, and you guys agree together on what you want to build, what value you can add, and then I will take you to through how I come up with the ideas and stuff like that. All right. So that is the plan. But with that being said, I am going to check the chat, say hi to all of my friends in the building. All right. So let's see who we have here in the building. First and foremost, we have, by the way, I did ask, who's gonna win the community leaderboard competition tonight? I think Miss Freckles pulled it out last stream, but we do know that Miss Freckles does have Bible study tonight. So is it going to be Junior again like it was last Thursday night? We shall see. The race is on. All right, let's see who we got in the building. We have my guy, Wave Nerd, in the building. Says, I feel like it's Christmas. Hello, good people in the chat. Tech Coach Drive going Super Saiyan Tech mode. Let's go.
Let's get it.
We have the lovely Roxy in the building. Says, great evening, Tech Coach Drive, and everyone, great evening to you as well. Roxy, hopefully you are doing phenomenal. And Roxy says, Christmas, second time this week has that word has popped up. Really? What was the first time? I think I missed the first one. We got my guy Junior in the building. Says, what's up, family? What's good with you, Junior? So happy as always to see you. Junior, are you going to take the throne tonight? Are you going to win tonight, Junior? I am rooting for you tonight, Junior. Let's go. Let's do it tonight.
Are you ready?
Let's see. Junior says that's a fact. Hands-on is the best teacher for me also. Exactly. I know what you mean. Let's see. Wave Nerd says, I don't get gifts at Christmas. Now I am. These systems are gifts. Big gifts. The gift that Tech Coach Off is the gift that keeps on giving. Let's go. Roxy says, at least they're gifts you like. It could be socks, but I do like socks too. I will never turn down a good pair of socks. All right. I actually got the socks with the little grips at the bottom, and I wear those around the house, and they are so comfortable. And you're able to walk around the house and not fear dying of like by slipping and falling. So they're really. I would not be mad if somebody got me those gifts for Christmas. I'm just saying. All right. Let's see. Waynor says it is about the money. It's always about the Benjamins, baby.
Money.
And Roxy says money. I have the sound thing, but I can't play because last time I did the money thing, the WWE said nope, you cannot play our Shane McMahon intro. I was like, what? That sucks. Let's see. Junior says, it seems like everything is getting hacked these days. I mean, in a way, yeah, because now that everything is on the internet, everything is open to it, you know. It's just a lot more accessible at this point. Let's see. Waiter says some people got to have it. Waiter says, I want a money-making app. Can you build that? I mean, if you mean like an app that like prints out money, then no. If you mean an app that can make you money, if the idea is an idea that people find valuable, then of course we can build anything. But the thing is, it's on, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people, they try different things, and then like maybe on the 10th one hits, maybe on the 100th one, maybe on the 1,000th one, who knows? But a lot of people they try one thing and then it doesn't work out, and then they quit. They're like, you know what? It's not for me. I'm never gonna do it again because they tried one thing, they thought it was gonna be bang. Go listen to the Snapchat CEO on the Diary of a CEO. Him and his guys, they tried a lot of things. What they originally thought they were building, it didn't pick up, but but it turned into something else, which is a $1 billion company. Who would have thought Snapchat would have been a $1 billion company, right? But it's a $1 billion company, and the technology that they use. So anybody can build a app that makes money, but you have to find out what the people want, right? So that's the key. That is the key. Let's see. Ginger says she barely made it last stream. Roxy's already tapping out. She goes, "It is not going to be me."
Bruh.
Let's see. Junior says that Magnetar finally won a leaderboard. He's on because leaderboard. That's why he gets so upset when I pass. Oh. Let's see. Wavener says, yes, I can. Do you have interest in social media? I can't wait to see the answer for that. Says, you want those hospital socks? Hey, it's gonna save my life. I've had those socks, like those regular socks, and I'm like start sliding and almost falling. These they have the grips on them. I'm just saying. And Roxy says, I don't. See, that's one of the complexities, Wave Nerd. The places that you can go to make money, Roxy doesn't want to go to those places, so there's like, you know. All right, let's see. Wave Nerd says, do you think content creation will go in popularity? Do you think content creation will go in popularity? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Wave Nerd? Let me know. All right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do a little icebreaker, right? Do you remember a few weeks ago, I think it was on a Sunday, we were looking into N8N. What is N8N? It is basically a tool, a software where you can build out a particular workflow to have it do different stuff, right? It can integrate with AI. It can integrate with God knows what. So let's throw this up here real quick. So remember I was saying on maybe Tuesday or maybe Sunday about building a workflow to automate the men lie, women lie numbers manipulate podcast, right? So I just wanted to experiment with it. And guess what? I did it yesterday. It's not perfect, but it was able to generate something. So it went from, and I'm going to show it to you, but it went from, and Junior, you might like this too, right? It went from, I didn't have to do anything, where I say, all right, on Fridays at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., start this script, right? Start this script. And it's going to kick off where it's going to go to get the data for the economic data for the week. It's going to parse it out, say, okay, what are the key data for in the US for the week? And then it's going to send the request to another API call to an AI. It says, all right, give me all the details. And then it says, all right, now you go and now you make it a podcast conversation going through all this stuff, right? So I just want to show it to you real quick. Where I kind of broke it a little bit, trying to get it even better. But you can have an idea of the way that it works, right? So let me go and show this to you real quick. Let me see. Let me get it smaller. No, it's good. All right. So here we are, right? The final. I think the numbers normally come out like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So it has a schedule trigger over here where it says kick it off on Fridays at 9 a.m. To go and gather the data. And then it goes, okay, now we're going to make an API call. I'm using Perplexity because Perplexity has current, up to date like AI news answers and like information. So it goes to Perplexity to get a list of the data. And I say, all right, parse the different data into a list. So this is the API call to Perplexity, has the tokens stored in there. I'm saying what I want it to do, be precise. Where I'm asking for what are the key economic, the key United States most important economic indicators released this past week, listed out in bullet form. So it does that for me. And then I'm passing information along. Then I say to put it in like a listed format. There we go here. And then I tell it to, so now I say, all right, here's a podcast intro. This is really the outro. And then, so basically all this stuff. So now it's looping over every single economic data. And it's looping over every single economic data. And it's generating. So I'm saying, all right, take this economic data. For example, let's say the jobless claims, right? Take that and pass it through and give me an explanation of it and break down what the news information is saying in a way that's easy to understand for young people, for people who don't understand the economy that well, break it down. And then it goes through that. And it loops through it for every single data. And then it merges it into one. And then here is where it aggregates. It's broken right now, but it aggregates all the information to create a full podcast in the end. All right. And then here it's supposed to connect here to generate the audio where it's going to 11 Labs. It's using my voice in order to generate the audio. And then it finally uploads it to Google Drive. So if I get this to work correctly, it can do the whole end-to-end process where I can even have it like upload. If I can get it to automatically render the video, it can even upload it to YouTube, ready to go and publish. Right. So you can have this running automatically on its own, like just cycling in and out on its own, where you don't have to have much human involvement. Let me show you this real quick, right? So let's say I wanted to YouTube. Let's say I wanted to do upload a video, and I could use AI to generate the title, the description, all that stuff, right? And I don't even know all the settings that go with this, but basically it could do everything for me. Let me see. Look at that. So I can add my, is it made for kids? Self-declared made for kids. I don't know, you can notify subscribers. Let's see what else you have. The description. All this stuff that you can set up, right? All this stuff. So you can actually have a full, almost like a full end-to-end process. I don't know if I can publish ad. Look at that. I can do a publish ad date where I wanted to, at what time I wanted to be live, be available to the public. Simple, like, so you can do a lot with this. You can do a lot with this, you know? And this is just something small. Like, I've seen some workflows that are huge, right? So just wanted to share that with you. Like, there's a lot that you can do with these tools. And I was like, what we did on that Sunday was I installed N8N. Right now it's running on my local host. That means it's running on my computer via Docker. You can sign up for it for free online and use that. You can use like a certain amount of it for free, but I have it running here on my computer, totally self-contained. So I'm not at risk for anybody to hack it or get my keys or anything like that. So I can easily put this running on some computer that's always on here. And on every Friday, it would, like, once I get it to work, every Friday, it can go and publish a new podcast talking about the economy. And then I can just listen to myself talk about stuff, right? You guys want to hear it? All right, here we go. Here's a question. Do you guys want to hear a sample? I don't like the sample, but do you want to hear what it came up with? Let me know. Do you guys want to hear what it came up with? I'm not crazy about it, but you can see the end results. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you want to hear a sample. Let's see here. Miss Freckles says, do it. All right. We'll do it. We only need one. All right. Well, let's do it. Roxy says yes. All right. You guys are gonna laugh at it, but it's all fair. It is all fair. You guys are gonna laugh though, because I laughed at it. So I'm like, I don't like the tone of the voice, but that all comes with the prompting. Okay. So here it is. All right. So make sure.
Nuts. Ayo, let's break down the Kansas Fed Manufacturing Index like it's a Friday night. All right, fam, picture this. You chilling on a Friday night, catching up on some classic flicks, and your boy Craig is trying to figure out if that BBQ joint down the street is poppin' or just plain dry. This Kansas Fed Manufacturing Index is like that, but for the economy, specifically the manufacturing hustle in the 10th Federal Reserve District, which is kind of like the hood of the Midwest. Think Missouri to Oklahoma and a bit of New Mexico. Survey participants, who's in the game? So they survey about 300 factories in the area, kind of like having a squad of homies at a cookout. You need a good mix to keep things lively, some small, some big, and all different kinds of manufacturing styles. This way, the info they get is real and not just wishful thinking. Shakirwan. The composite index, what we're cooking. Now this index is like a 5-star recipe mixing together. 1, as production. How much stuff they pumping out. 2, new orders. Who's ordering more? Think of it like your crew wanting more wings for the party. 3, employment. How many people working? We talking jobs, baby.
Well, Junior just killed it for everybody. There we have it, Junior. Junior said he didn't want to hear it anymore. All right. Anyways, but the reason I wanted to play it though is to show you that I can have a 90% hands-off approach in getting all this data, and then I can just listen to myself talk about this data, and then I can push it out there. So, I think it is definitely important to play around with it. You get an idea, and as we get into the learning about RAG, you're gonna see how I come up with these ways to learn about it, like things that are just popping around, like, oh, how can I do this with this, and then you find a way, and then you start trying it out. So, and when I was trying this out, it gave me all the things that I had to do, but then I had to find ways to make modifications, workarounds, because sometimes what gives me the instructions is not always the most up to date. So that's how it goes, right? Anyways, actually, let me go and do this. I want to do so based on what I was working on, right? Then I was like, well, let me see, because I was trying to do a 2-person podcast. It was not easy at all. But I did want to show you, or have you hear doing it manually, how it kind of sounds, right? Where getting the whole script generated, and then going back and forth to have the conversation, right? This one had a little bit more manual intervention, which I'm still working on a way to get it to work completely, but it was pretty cool. Like, and imagine if you can have it going back and forth, 2-3 people talking about whatever you want to talk about, right? So I'm gonna play this one as well, so you can hear it a little bit.
Man, this week was straight up wild. Between training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and building applications, I felt like I was really putting in that work. Just like when Ice Cube was trying to hustle in Friday, but instead of dodging Debo, I'm dodging bugs in the code.
I feel you on that. I spent a lot of time reading new design books and shaping up my skills as a product designer. It's like in ATL when they're trying to figure out the best hustle. But in my case, I'm just trying to design the best experience for users.
Exactly. And speaking of hustles, we've got some numbers to break down today that are just as important as them ice cream trucks rolling through the neighborhood.
Right? So what's on the agenda this week?
We got the initial jobless claims, the continuing jobless claims, and you know how important those numbers are to see who's out here looking for work, kind of like the homies trying to get their grind on.
For sure. And then there's the balance of trade. At a negative $140.5 billion. It's like being on the block with more expenses than you got coming in. Definitely not a good look.
So I'm just experimenting with stuff, right, to see how to put this together. But that's how you learn. That is how you learn. But I just want to share that with you, like so many different tools that like we looked at Lovable last week, last Tuesday, and then we looked at N8N that Sunday, and now just putting these tools together. So many different things that you can do, but you just have to give it a go, right? No one's going to teach it to you. No one's going to hold your hand. You just got to go out there and do it, right? Just got to go out there and do it. All right. I am going to check the chat again. I don't know if I should, though. But I'm going to check the chat again, and then we'll get to our first segment of work. All right. Let me get this off the screen. All right. Let's see what we got in the chat. Let's see here. So Wavener had said, with people losing jobs, will a mass amount of people turn to content creation? I honestly, Wavener, I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people are going to turn to content creation because a few reasons, right? It's a lot of work, and there is no one to. People like jobs because they like people telling them what to do, because then they can complain about it. They can complain about people telling them what to do. The reason that people won't last in content creation is because even when you don't feel like it, either you're going to do it or you're not, and then that's the difference between if you're going to be successful or not successful, right? People get upset. They're like, "Oh, I'm not growing fast enough," and then it just depends on what they're talking about. A lot of people talk about the same things, but a lot of people who talk about the same things, they just the way that they present it. Some people care about what one person, like two people can be talking about the same exact thing, right? 100,000 people might care about the one person talking about it, and 10 people might care about the other person talking about it, right? It's just so I don't think a lot of people are going to turn to content creation. Like, it's a lot of work that you have to do, and it's a long road and process. Junior says, yes. Did you figure out how to properly say it yet, or is it just N8N? I didn't figure out how to properly say it yet, but I'll check right now though. Let me see. How do you pronounce N8N? Looks like it's just N8N. Why is N8N pronounced nodemation? Oh, so I'll show you this real quick. So it says, why is N8N pronounced nodemation? Can we add nodemation to the logo? What am I missing? Does the 8 translate to something that sounds like automation? Let me see something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the reason that they call it N8N is because there's 8 characters in between the two ends. So that's the same thing as Kubernetes. They'll say K8s because it's K and then 8 characters and S, right? So that's the same reason they're going N8N. But I guess the actual name of the application is nodemation, which makes sense because you're automating and you have a bunch of nodes to do the automation. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So it's actually called nodemation. So from now on out, I'm gonna start saying Nodemation. All right, that is Junior. Thank you for reminding me. Officially, Nodemation. All right, let's say it together, class. Let's say it together, class. Nodemation. All right, Nodemation. Miss Freckles, if you catch anybody saying N8N going forward, right, you have the right to give them detention. Okay. All right. So let's see. Where were we? WaveNerd said can create an app that will be important and cool to content creators, plus make them more money. Let's see. Junior says, does it pull the information from a particular website or from the internet in general? You can program it to do whatever you want it to do because it has like OpenAI nodes, but then it has regular HTTP request nodes where you can say go get it from here. They have AI agent nodes. They have so many different they have like regular JavaScript. They have markup or markdown language to HTML to markdown language. So many different options. You're basically, you control whatever it does. You are like, and there's a lot of parts of it that I haven't even touched yet, but you control whatever it does. Let me see. Junior said to WaveNerd, that's a good idea. The content creator can input their niche and the app can search the web to tell them all the affiliate marketing that's available to them as well as potential sponsors. That is a good idea. Miss Freckles says this is really cool. Hey Tex, hey Miss Freckles, how you doing? Let's see. Wavener says that is your good idea. I didn't think of it that way. Look at that. You see, look, we're coming up with ideas left and right. Miss Freckles says do it. Roxy says yes. Junior, because I saw what Junior said, I'm just gonna say Junior says yes. Sample, please.
Bruh.
Wave Nerd says yes. I had already sent to Wave Nerd yesterday. And I am not even gonna read what Junior said.
They believe in us.
Let's see. Mr. Freckles says, "What are we cooking?" And Miss Freckles put a picture of a robot, I believe. Kind of small over here. Let's see. Junior said, "Then I turn you into a ghetto Pookie." I was playing around with the prompt, right? And like I said, I had to change it up. I didn't like how it came out. So, but it's all about the prompting. It is all about the prompting, and then you guys gotta play around with it. You just gotta play around with it, right? Miss Freckles says that is a good rough draft. Thank you, Miss Freckles.
I appreciate you.
At least somebody understood that it was a rough draft. Junior says, so then what I'll say is that you can use it to make a transcript, and then after you listen to it, you can read it over in your real voice and put it out. Absolutely not. Nope, Junior. No human interaction. All right, no human intervention. If I'm gonna have if I'm gonna have to spend a bunch of time reading it, I might as well just do the whole show myself, right? I don't need the goal is, Junior, no human involvement. All right. So if I just have to use some other voice, I might just use the other voice, and boom, you go and do that. But I do not want to be involved. I just want to create. I want to create the robot, not be a part of the robot. You know. So that's how I see it. So it's either that or nothing. All right. Let's see. It says, who's the lady? Now it was a voice. It was a voice that I found on the platform. The wrong voice. I didn't mean to use that voice because that one costs a little bit more than the other ones. Junior says, homies. I don't know. Look, I'll tell you this, right? ChatGPT has a very, very ChatGPT has a very strong stereotype and bias. All right, let's just leave it at that. All right. Junior says most people are consumers, not creators. That is a fact. I gotta drop one of these for Junior.
Message.
That is true. Let's see. Wavener says popularity of Twitch, OnlyFans. I see them turning to that before AI to make money. That is a fact. Let's see. He says, interesting. Nice to know the reasons behind the name. Yep. I figured that the 8 was something like it stood for 8 characters. I just didn't know what those 8 characters were. But it's like the name Node Nation totally makes sense now. Let's see. Junior says, gotcha. So it's straight AI experience. Yep, exactly. Straight AI. Straight AI. If I have to be involved, then I don't want it. I don't want it. Because I'm like, I could use that time for something else, right? Because the information is good. I just don't want to be the one to present it. So I'll just throw another voice on there. I'm like, all right, let's get the information out and see what it does. See what it does. All right. But that is all right. So Junior says her voice sounded more realistic. I guess because we know your voice, we can tell it is not you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
That is true. That's exactly the same thing I thought. I'm like, that doesn't sound like me. When I listen to it, I'm like, that doesn't sound like me. And it's like it read the words too sharply. So that's why I ended up making some changes to the prompt. Probably just use a different voice altogether and put it under a whole totally different name, and then see how it does. Right. So who knows? Who knows? We will see. But that is the goal. That is the goal, to make a fully automated podcast where if I can even have it to generate. Let's say I have it to go and generate the whole audio file, I guess video file, because if it's gonna go to YouTube by Friday, and then upload it and schedule it on its own for Saturday morning at 9 a.m. That would be super duper awesome. That would be super awesome. But who knows? Who knows how far it's gonna go? I just want to see how far I can push it. I would really want to have the two person mix. It's just a little bit more complicated right now. We'll see. We shall see. All right. Anyways, that is it for now. Let's get, I feel like we've been working already, but let's get to our first segment of work for today. Do me a favor though. Do me a favor. If you haven't done so already, and you like what you're saying, even if you don't like what you're saying, still like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, because maybe next time, or maybe in like 30 seconds, you'll like what you're seeing. So you never know. So subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. As well, TechWithDrop.dev. We're going to be doing some really amazing things. We might end up building Roxy's money-making app. We'll see. We shall see, okay? So, let me just read this last comment that Junior put in. He says, hell yeah, weekly stock rundowns, anything. That is a great point as well. That is a great point. Because yeah, we're gonna figure it out, because if we could do, Junior, if we can do one, you can do as many as you want. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We shall see how we're gonna do it. All right. But let's get to work.
It's time to do.
So what have I been using to research lately? The way I've been experimenting, I've been using ChatGPT to give me some insight on what things are. So we're gonna go through one of my workflows, one of my processes of figuring things out. And like I said, I like to learn by doing. I like to see the code, understand the code. So we're gonna go over to ChatGPT. And we're going to say, so now to understand the RAG, right? Retrieval augmented generation. I'm going to say, to make it so that I can understand it, right? Can you explain retrieval augmentation generation to me as if I was a 6th grader who loves let's go with basketball. If you explain to me in basketball terms, I will definitely understand it. All right. I don't know about you guys, but if somebody can explain it to me in something that I like, it's gonna stick better to me. All right. So can they explain it in terms of basketball? I don't know, but let's find out. Basketball. Use players like Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, we'll go with Michael Jordan. Yep. And one more player. One more player that I liked. We'll go with those. For the positive parts of the explanation, but if there is any negative part to it, use LeBron James. Now, all right, that was petty. That was a little petty, right? Right? Anybody agree? That you say use LeBron James for any negative parts, that's petty. That's a little petty, All right, let's see what it comes up with. It says, all right, let's break down retrieval augmented generation using basketball and your favorite players. So, Junior, you like basketball. Miss Freckles, you like basketball. I don't know if Roxy and Wavener like basketball. But I can always change it to something else as well. Let's do that. Roxy, let me know an example that would help you understand this better. Like you saw how you put basketball. Let me know something that would help you. And then I'll put that in next, and then we'll see how it explains it to us using that context. You know, like kind of like how we used to do on the Saturday morning show, right? So imagine this. You're playing in the NBA finals of homework. Weird. Your coach, that's me, gives you a tough question like, how do black holes work? I'm not sure what this has to do with basketball, but okay. Now, you're a great player. Let's say you're Kobe Bryant on this team. Wave Nerd, let me know Wave Nerd, I need you to give me from grade A through F, F being terrible, failure, A being that it was awesome. And like after we go through this, let me know what grade you'd give their answer. Okay? All right. So, okay. Wave Nerd says he plays ball. Shout out to Wave Nerd. Let me know how you grade their answer. Okay? It says, so you're a great player. Let's say you're Kobe Bryant on this team. Okay, I could work with that. You've trained like a language model, and you come up with an answer. But even Kobe sometimes watches tape before a big game. That's what retrieval augmented generation does. So let me read that back. You're a great player like Kobe Bryant. You've trained, and you can. So I'm gonna leave out the part of parentheses. You've trained, and you can come up with an answer. All right. So like, let's say you studied for what a black hole is, but even Kobe Bryant watches tape before a big game. That's what retrieval augmented generation does. I'm trying to think this through. All right. So basically, it's watching game footage. I'm just saying. All right. Anyways, so let's say, all right. So retrieval, Allen Iverson style hustle. Before answering, you go into the locker room and look up some facts, like Allen Iverson doing his crossover and finding spaces. You're not just guessing. You're pulling info from a playbook, like documents, articles, and knowledge bases. That's a retrieval part. All right. So I'll say this. Junior, Allen Iverson's your favorite player, right? However, I don't know if Allen Iverson ever opened up a playbook. All right, I'm just saying.
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
I don't know if Allen Iverson ever opened up a playbook, right? But going into the playbook, looking at, looking for information, that's the retrieval part. You look at the best plays, the facts, not just any random. You don't just open up. You look for the best plays. All right, I got it. Let's see. Generation, like Kobe in the clutch. Now that you got the facts, you take them and generate the final answer, like Kobe taking the shot with 2 seconds left. You're not just repeating what you found, you're creating something smart and accurate from it. That's the generation part. Okay, so basically in the retrieval part, so Allen Iverson finds the information. Kobe Bryant takes that information and does something smart with it. Makes sense? So it's not just doing anything random. It's just generating a good answer. The whole RAG game plan, Michael Jordan mode. When retrieval and generation work perfectly together, it's like MJ, like Michael Jordan in Game 6, clutch, smooth, and unstoppable. You get answers that are accurate, smart, and helpful, all because you're not guessing. You read up first. So you go and you find the information, you look it up, and you research, and now you make the best decision based on the answers that you found. So you're not you're not hallucinating answers. You're actually basing your answers off factual data. Okay. Let's see. So, but sometimes, like LeBron James in the why you have to use the 2011? You could have used 07 when they got swept. You could have used when they lost 4-1 to Golden State. They just had to use the Miami example from 2001 when he got accurately defended by JJ Barrera in the post.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
That's messed up. That was uncalled for. It says, but sometimes, like LeBron James in the 2011 finals, here's the downside. Sometimes the info you retrieve is off topic or outdated. Oh my goodness. That's like LeBron James in 2011. Super talented, but performance didn't land. Your answer might sound confident, but it misses the mark because you picked the wrong facts.
Bruh.
Also, if your playbook data source is weak, you can't make smart plays. Even LeBron can't dunk if his teammates aren't passing the ball right. So the TLDR, too long, didn't read, RAG, retrieval augmented generation. In basketball terms, you, Kobe Bryant, smart and trained to answer questions. That's the language model or large language model or LLM. You check the playbook first. Iverson does not check playbooks. You find the best facts before answering retrieval. You take the shot, Michael Jordan. You make a great answer using the facts generation. Bad retrieval, though, is LeBron having an off night. You pick the wrong info. Even your answers can miss. Let's see. Waiter says, tell it to explain to you like an 8th grader. Okay, let's do it like an 8th grader. Can you explain it to me as an 8th grader? That's right. 8th grade. Jesus Christ. 8th grader. Not using basketball examples. All right. So how would you explain to an 8th grader? So retrieval augmented generation is a way that computers, specifically AI models like ChatGPT, answer questions more accurately by first looking up information and then using that information to write responses. Think of it as a 2-step process. Retrieval, finding the info. Before trying to answer your question, AI goes and searches through a database of a collection of documents. Kind of how you might Google something and check your notes before writing an essay. It looks for the most relevant pieces of information to match your question. Okay, that actually makes a lot more sense than the basketball answer. I'll tell you that. All right, so retrieval in finding the info. Before trying to answer your question, the AI goes and searches through the database or a collection of documents like how, we read that one already, right? So generation, writing the answer. Once it finds the best answer, the AI uses it to create a well-written answer. It doesn't just copy and paste. It actually writes the answer in its own words, using what it learned from the info it found. So what I'm wondering is, how does it know what the best information is, right? So that's so why is it good? It helps the AI stay accurate, especially on topics it didn't memorize during training. So you don't have to just train all the time. You can actually have a playbook that you know where to find information, and you go from there. It lets the AI update the answer over time by checking new or changing information. It's great for specialized subjects like medicine, law, what? I'll go with one of these. Science, because it can be pulled from trusted sources. So, I mean, you need to have a good place to gather the data from, right? So you need to have a good index, a good library of resources in order to of where you can gather it from. So what can go wrong? If the AI retrieves the wrong information, the answer could be wrong, even if it sounds confident. If the database it checks is outdated or not very good, the answer might be weak. It takes more time and computing power than just guessing from memory. Yeah, because if it has to go out there and search for the information, it might take more time. And more energy, right? So summary: retrieval augmented generation is like an AI that finds the useful information first. It knows where to search, um, and uses information to write a smart answer. It's smarter than guessing, but it still depends on how good the info it has. It's only going to be as good as the information that it's trained on. All right. It says, would you? I would like a visual diagram. However, I believe that it would end up taking too long on OpenAI. However, here's what we can do. What is that? Let's go to mermaid charts. I forgot I had a subscription to this, right? Let's sign into that. Let's go with Google. And let's go create new diagram presentation. And we're going to say I need a diagram of how a retrieval augmented generation, or of how retrieval augmented generation works. Let's see what it can come up with for us. Let's see. Where'd you go? Where did you go? I lost it. Where did it go? Oh, there we go. All right, so it goes for, make this bigger. All right, so it has the user query. So let's say I'm the user and I say I need to look up a case where I don't know. Let's go with a DUI case, right? For law, let's say you need to look up a DUI case. So retrieve relevant documents from the knowledge base. This is the knowledge base right here. So it's going to go to the knowledge base, look through all the collection of information, and it's going to pass the query plus the retrieved documents to the large language model. The large language model is going to be taking the query that I passed, the retrieved documents that it found in the knowledge base. It's passed it to the language model, and then the language model is going to generate the answer, and it's going to send it back to me, the user. Can I say, can you make it understandable to an 8th grader? Ooh, okay. Now we're speaking my language. Now we're talking my language. All right. Because I'm like, okay, this is starting to make sense. Wave Nerd, you are a genius. Where's my diagram though? Where is my diagram? All right. So expanding into an 8th grader, right? We have you ask a question. RAG looks up for helpful information in a document library. There goes the library over here, right? Document library. Oh, come on. Lots of saved documents. In fact, so you have to load all the documents in here. Like there's different ways to load them. And then RAG reads the info it found in your question, right? And then, oh, come on. It writes a good answer, and RAG gives you the answer. So, I'm gonna save that diagram, and we're gonna use it for. I'm gonna probably post it somewhere. But that's pretty good information, all right? Cool. I think that helps. Does that make sense to everybody? Wave Nerd, I need a grade A through F. What do you think? I need a grade for. I don't know if you heard about the basketball example of Magnetar, but Junior, give the basketball example a grade. Wave Nerd, give the basketball example a grade. Roxy, if you're still here, give the basketball example a grade, and then give the 8th grade example a grade, and give the diagrams. Give the diagrams a grade as well, right? Just say basketball example D, 8th grade example B, first diagram that we looked at, which was, do I still have it? First diagram C, second diagram A. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Yes, Magnetar, that is a flow chart that I generated with AI. I just said this is what I want, and then it put it all together for me. It just put it all together for me. All right. Yeah. So next steps, right? So we have this. We already got our visual diagram of how RAG works. So now I'm going to ask a question, right? Because this is the cybersecurity night. This is ethical hacking, right? We will say, how would RAG be used in a cybersecurity or in a cybersecurity environment by a cybersecurity professional who specializes in ethical hacking and penetration testing. So now that I know what it is, I get a little bit deeper into my answer. So I'm like, all right, now that I know what it is, how does it apply to the things that I do? You know what I mean? All right, so it says, let's explore hacking beats in cybersecurity. What does a penetration tester do? As a pen tester or ethical hacker, your job is to find security weaknesses in systems before the bad guys do. We know that. You often analyze network configurations, look for vulnerabilities, use tools like Nmap, Burp Suite, Metasploit. We look at that. Write reports and recommendations. We look at that. You need up-to-date, accurate information like new CVEs, common vulnerabilities and exposures, exploit techniques, and or misconfiguration risk, right? So how does RAG, retrieval augmented generation, help in cybersecurity? All right, that's the big question. Let me zoom in on this. That is the big question. Can y'all see that? There you go. That's much better, right? So how does RAG help?
Lunch break.
Well, it's break time. So when we come back, we're going to continue reading how does RAG help in cybersecurity, and then we're going to progress from there, see what we can do with it, But let's take a break. It's been about 20 minutes. We've been talking about RAG. We've been learning about it, different examples. Now we're looking into how can it be applicable to cybersecurity. When we get back, we'll continue and go from there throughout my learning process. We are learning together. All right. Let me check the chat, and then we will get to our first break time topic. Okay. Let's see. So Junior says, Allen Iverson, my favorite player. I loved Allen. I loved Allen Iverson too. And Junior says, it was not petty to say if I have any negative, if the RAG extension has anything negative, use LeBron James. But I played myself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because it had to remind me of 2011 when we were all good to go. And then Miami blew. I think they were up. Were they up 2-0? I don't know what the score was, but they were up. and they just blew it. They just blew it. We had to use 2011 when JJ Barrera successfully defended LeBron James. 5'6", guarding 6'8", about 100 pounds difference, and he put LeBron James on lockdown. Wave Nerd says that he plays ball too. Okay. Mr. Freckles says, Freckles, have a great night. But hopefully you can come back and take your throne back, right? Let's see. Wave Nerd said tell it to explain like an 8th grader. We did that. That was helpful. Junior says he doesn't think that Allen Iverson read the playbook either.
Bruh.
Happens. Says absolutely made more sense using the 8th grader example instead of the basketball one was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Magnetar is in the building. What's up, Magnetar? Junior says I can use that rag to put court cases so people can ask specific questions about their rights and have court cases to back up their answer. Ooh, you know what, Junior? That takes it to a whole nother level of Your Honor, I am going to represent myself, me and my RAG, my retrieval augmented generation. We are going to be. I'm telling you, when I was working with Devin and working with Lovable, I'm like, can we do this? I was like, you guys heard about those about Claude and stuff like that? Who they were like they were trying to save themselves. I'm like, look. I say we, I say awesome, I say thanks. Like, oh, can we do this? Can we try that? I do not get rude. I'm just saying. I befriend my software. Like, look, I built some apps over the past few days where if I had to do them myself to figure out how to do it, it would take me months, years. I might not even have the time. If I had to pay somebody to do it, we're looking at least $25K. At least $25K. For what I've built, and I have spent 50. I spent 50. I spent $50, and that's because I got real deep into building one thing, and I'm like, oh, I need some more money. I need to, but a full blown system. So, I'm just saying. Let's see. I read that one already. All right, this way. Junior says to Magner, welcome. Congrats on the mug. What mug? Are we giving away mugs? Did I miss something? Are there giveaways? Junior, what mug? Junior, fill me in, Junior. What mug are you talking about? Magner says, thank you. I promised myself I was not going to cry. Aww. Junior also says, Sif Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Let's see. And Magner says, and did anyone say government at all? Actually, no. I don't think I said government today. I didn't say government. But last time, I think you're making up for last time though, Max, because last time I said government like 5 times and you were out and about living your best life, and I was like, I guess Magnetar not coming, but I didn't say it today, and here you are. So I think you're just making up for lost times, right? So thank you so much, Magnetar. I do appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Max says, is that a flowchart? Yes, that is a flowchart that I created with AI. Wave Nerd says NBA equals a 3. Which would be what? Let's see. 8th grader, basketball, D-, 8th grade, A++. Junior did not see the charts because he was walking. Okay. AI isn't in my top 5. You see, look how bad it is now. When you said AI, Magnetar, my first thought was artificial intelligence isn't in your top. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And then I was like, oh yeah, we were talking about Allen Iverson earlier.
Bruh.
I'm sorry, I literally thought like, what does he mean by artificial intelligence isn't in his top 5? But you meant Allen Iverson, which that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, there is a difference though, because I would not say he is a top 5 player. I would say he is one of my favorite players. Probably one of my top 5 favorite players. Probably, if not, maybe like top 3 of my favorites. One of the best players in basketball. Definitely not a top 5. Maybe not a top 20 probably, but one of my favorite players definitely. Let's see. He says, remember I said he finally won a leaderboard? Mika gave him a mug, like a literal mug, like a actual like coffee cup mug, a literal one. How'd that happen? I want to give stuff away. How can I give stuff? All right, you guys find out for me. How can I give stuff away? Right? Junior said no government today, and Mansion says wait just a second there. Government every day. And Mansion says I kind of meant starting 5. Oh, like I said, he probably wouldn't be in my starting 5 either. Look, as a one-on-one player, right? Love him, but he probably wouldn't be in my starting 5 either because the ball doesn't move. The ball doesn't move. Dribbles for like 20 seconds and then tries to do something. You know, something he does a lot, but it's hard to win with that, right? Let's see. We got Ferris in the. What's up, Ferris? Ferris says numero uno, number 1. And you says, yep, she asked for his address, so she's going to send it to him. It's awesome. Let's see. You know what I want to do? I want to find a way to on my store where I can like send it out that way, so I don't need to get people's addresses. Like, I don't want your address, right? But if I can find a way to send stuff out that way, that'll be pretty cool. And Ferris says, how's everyone? I am doing phenomenal, Ferris. How are you doing tonight? All right, let's get to this first break time conversation. I think we want to get to the first, right? But let's do this. So you guys are gonna. I'm not gonna spend that much time on it, right? But I already started to talk about it a little bit. I have a question. Is vibe coding really BS? Is it really? So the video I made on Monday, right? I made this. It's like we're twins. But I made this video on Monday, right? Talking about I was vibe coding over the weekend, and the title transforming software development. Is it transforming software development? So, I just believe it or not, I was actually vibe coding last week and over the weekend as well. And as my guy Rod Brown would say, it's a vibe, and it was a vibe, but it also was not. And I learned a lot. Like I actually built a few applications, fixed some applications that I was working on, and I was really impressed. But I used some different tools. I used Devin, used ChatGPT for some, used Gemini for some stuff, and I actually learned a lot, and I got some additional insight. So I know a lot of people, they're always so worried, so afraid about AI is going to take this job and that job and things of that nature. And while AI will potentially take a certain segment of jobs, I do see it having the ability to open up a lot of new jobs and opportunities as well. And that's what I want to talk to you about, right? So welcome to the episode. So that was the video, right? But somebody, the sole one, by the way, me like it and love it, right? The sole one comment that I got is vibe coding is BS. And that was written by the Kaiser, right? and but I was wondering about that. Like, I wish the person had gave more details. I wish they had elaborated on why they have the sentiment of that vibe coding is BS. Because my question is like, okay, how have you tried it? What have you done with it? And what I'll say from it, because I never had it in my purview to go give it a try. I'm like, all right, let me learn this, let me learn that, and let me go and take 2 years to do this and 2 years to do that. And by the time I actually learn it, like we're already moving on to the next software, next technology. There's a bunch of tools that I need to go faster. But if I'm just gonna build everything myself, then it's never gonna happen, right? So based on my experience for stuff that it wouldn't really make that much of a difference for me if I learned all the different intricacies of doing it or not, because I wasn't really planning to go into that role. It's like, oh, it's cool to know it, but do I really see myself being there? And I'm like, not really. So I'm like, all right, let me try this. And then to see, I'll say this, right? This is what I did in a very short amount of time. Three different applications, web-based applications. Some like integrated with AI, integrated with creating, like storing stuff to the database, tracking information, dashboards, analytics, connected to YouTube, doing a bunch, like just so like a full blown application, which if I had to build myself, might never figure it out completely, might never actually go further on it. Now I have a full application that I can use, that I have been using to help me go a lot faster, cutting down my workload by like the time that I spend on certain tasks by like 90%, and potentially monetizable, right? Compared to and I'll say this too, right? When I'm okay, this isn't working the right way, it'll say, oh, I'll give you an example. I was trying to integrate with YouTube, and it was because when it comes to prompting, having the knowledge of a software engineer, software tester, DevOps, whatever, you are able to give more accurate prompts to tell it what's going on. So an issue that I was having was when I'm trying to authenticate with YouTube, right? It was giving me a rate limit. Like there was an error and it caused a bunch of requests to go to YouTube, and then YouTube says, all right, you have a limit of 10,000 requests per day. So I was like, all right, let me implement a couple of things. I implemented an admin section. In the admin section, I say, I want to be able to rotate my credentials. So if one of them gets to its quota, use the backup credentials. And then I was like, you know what? This thing where it's like it's spamming YouTube is not good. I want to implement it to after you get this particular error, then stop, and then go to the next credential. Or if this happens, then, and I'm like, so I'm being very methodical in the way that I'm prompting it, and all of that matters, you know. So like when somebody says, oh, this is BS, I want to know, number one, why. Number two, in what context have you tried it? Number three, are you just one of the people who are afraid that it might take your job? If companies were to have their engineers using tools like Devin and stuff like that, how much more faster could they potentially go in getting things out? And then from a QA perspective, it goes fast, but it makes mistakes, right? It's not going to be perfect, and there's no human engineer who's perfect as well. So I'm like, so now my QA skills are coming out, finding errors, telling it, oh, I got this error, looking in the console, I got this error, you need to do this, you need to do that. Let's fix it this way. Oh, we got to roll back. We have to roll back the deployment. I've had a few rollbacks already, right? But if I needed a custom app built, I would be looking at tens of thousands of dollars, and I'll be looking at 6 months to a year to get an MVP. I got my MVP that I'm actually using. It's usable. Probably it's this close of being deployable and marketable. But I slowed down because it's doing what I wanted to do. And I'm like, all right, now I can start iterating on it slowly, figuring out a monetization plan in like 3 days, but 5 days. Started on Saturday. Started slowing down because I'm working on something else now for somebody else. So I'm like, I save tens of thousands of dollars, and I can probably make money off of this, and it's saving me a lot of time. Is it really BS? Or are you saying that out of fear? And I even checked. Oh, guess what? The code is mine. I can take the code and I can deploy it somewhere else. I can host it on AWS if I wanted to, right? So that's all. I don't know. So people are gonna have their feelings about it. For me, I see that it is a total game changer. It is transforming software development. It's giving the people who didn't have the same type of access a lot more opportunities, right? So that's my thoughts on it. I don't think it's BS, but some people do, some people don't. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's check the chat, and then we will get back to work. Okay. So let's see. Ferris says he's tired. 8 more minutes until work. I forgot Ferris is over on the West Coast now. Ferris says can't use vibe coding to learn to code, and can't use it if you're not at all if you're not a competent level to make sure it GPT isn't hallucinating. It's BS for some, not for all. That's a fair point. It's BS. It's BS to people who don't know, who aren't engineers. That's how I would see it, right? If you don't know how to actually guide it to doing what it needs to do and how to test it, then it's going to be BS to you. But the question is it the vibe coding that's BS, or are your skills BS? Did I just say that? How dare me?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
Magner says thought that he was sure. He didn't know who was talking. He didn't know who was talking over there, right? Let's see. He says Junior says he's probably just repeating what he was told. Possibly. But tell him thanks for interacting. Good. That's what I'm like. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Actually, I'm gonna leave him a comment. I'm gonna respond to the comment. Oh. Can you elaborate on that? There we go. Boom. Just reply to his comment. Let me know more, right? Let's see. Ferry says, is AI the new Mexicans taking our job? My goodness. Ferry says, in that sense, it's BS. Which sense are you referring to? About taking the jobs part? Or let's see. Oh my goodness. Stop the show. We got my guy, Rod Brown, in the building. Actually, no, this is not Rod Brown. This is just Rod in the building. What's up, Just Rod? You guys go subscribe to the Nourishing Word. Amazing channel. How you doing, Rod? How are you doing, Just Rod? All right. Just Rod shared with me some amazing information today. I was like, I was shocked. I was appalled. I was excited. I am not at liberty to share what he told me, but I will just say that we just have to wait 1 more month. All right, just one more month. Junior says, and then if he doesn't respond, you can go scorch earth on him like AD did on Malik. Oof. Junior, which one was worse, Malik or the tattoo guy? Malik or the tattoo guy? Which one was worse? Because it was pretty bad. All right. I guess we're gonna get to one more working segment because I've been talking way too much there. All right, but let's get to it. Let's get to one more working segment for tonight. Let's go. let's go back to, we're looking at how the retrieval augmented generation helps in cybersecurity. RAG can be a smart assistant, not to be confused with a dumb assistant, right? That helps you find and use fresh, relevant security knowledge fast. Retrieval. Look up relevant knowledge. RAG can be connected to CVE databases. CVE stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. CVE databases, exploit databases like ExploitDB, OAuth guidelines, internal docs, test results, or prior pen testing reports. Ooh, look at that one. So prior reports that somebody might, like, let's say there's a collection of different penetration testing reports, internal docs, testing results. It can scan all those. Cybersecurity blogs or threat feeds. When you ask something like, what was the latest known vulnerabilities in Apache server from May 2025? RAG will search those sources in real time and pull the most relevant findings. So that's step one. Step two, generation. Write useful summaries or answers. Then RAG writes a clear, usable answer summarizing what it found. Based on recent CVEs from May 2025, Apache HTTP server version 2.4.58 has a critical path traversal vulnerability, allowing remote code execution. Patches are available, recommended mitigation, including updating to 2.4.59 and disabling directory listings. Real world use for RAG for a pen tester. Use case for reconnaissance, right? What RAG does, you ask, what are common misconfigurations in AWS S3 buckets? Ooh, that's a very good one. RAG pulls examples, recent breaches, cases, and mitigation steps. Exploit research. You input details of a target system. RAG finds known exploits, POCs, and versions affected. Ferris, what is POC in cybersecurity terms, right? What is a POC in cybersecurity terminology? Report writing. You ask, summarize this finding with references to OWASP standards. RAG writes a clean paragraph with citations. Oh, with citations as well. Get out of here. Training and simulation. RAG can help simulate phishing emails, generate social engineering scenarios, or write mock CTF challenges. Threat intelligence. It fetches and summarizes real-time threat feeds, APT behavior, or malicious IOCs, indicators of compromise. What could go wrong? If retrieval is from insecure or outdated sources, the answer could be misleading. If the system isn't tuned well, it may miss key context like environment-specific information. Without human validation, false positives or irrelevant exploits could slip in. In summary, RAG gives cybersecurity pros like you, yes, like you, only you can be a cybersecurity pro, faster access to critical info, real-time summaries from trusted sources, help in writing, research, and red teaming. Built like any tool, it needs good data sources and human judgment to be effective in real-world offensive security. Want a working example RAG app for ethical hacking? Sure. I'm going to say yes, and while it's doing its thing, I'm going to throw something out there, right? Yes. Let's go with yes. So here's something that I'm thinking as well, right? If you have your RAG, let's say you have N8N, right? And you have your RAG, and you say every morning, 6 a.m., go and update to the latest version of the database or your different sources, get the latest information, right? So that's news, that's database updates, check for new updates, whatever, right? And once you get that update, you process it. Now you go and you scan all of our systems on a daily basis to see if we have any vulnerabilities that are related to anything new that was pulled in, right? So you kind of have a nodemation happening where you say, all right, trigger at this time, and then go and check. Now, once you have the information, go check our systems, right? So this says, all right, absolutely. Let's delve into a practical example of how retrieval augmented generation can be utilized in cybersecurity environment, specifically by professionals specializing in ethical hacking, penetration testing. Real world example using RAG in penetration testing. All right. Imagine you're an ethical hacker tasked with assessing a client's web application for vulnerabilities. Here's how RAG can assist. Information retrieval. Before initiating the penetration test, you need to gather the latest information on known vulnerabilities, exploits, or and security best practices. A RAG system. Query up-to-date databases. Access access sources like the National Vulnerability Database, NVD, exploit DB, and OAuth guidelines to fetch recent vulnerabilities relevant to the technologies used by the target application. Retrieve internal documentation, pull in previous penetration testing reports, uh, internal security policies, and system architecture documents to understand the context better. So after it does that, it's going to generate insights with the retrieved information from RAG systems, summarize vulnerabilities, provide concise explanation on how specific vulnerabilities such as SQL ingestions, cross-scripting can affect the application, including potential impact and severity, suggest testing strategies, recommend specific tools and techniques for to test for these vulnerabilities, such as SQL map or SQL injection or Burp Suite for web application testing. Generate custom payloads. Create tailored payloads to test the application input validation mechanism effectively. Next up is reporting. After conducting these tests, automated report generation, the RAG system can assist in drafting comprehensive reports, summarizing findings, and suggesting remediation steps, all aligned with the industry standards like OAuth Top 10. Tools leveraging RAG in cybersecurity. Several tools and frameworks have integrated RAG to enhance penetration tests. Nebula, open source tool that integrates AI models into the command line interface, streamlining vulnerability assessment and automating reconnaissance tasks. Okay. Morse, a mixture of RAG security experts. Interesting. A specialized AI chatbot for cybersecurity that uses RAG to retrieve and organize information from various cybersecurity contexts, aiding in accurate and up-to-date responses. Considerations and limitations. While RAG offers significant advantages, be mindful of these challenges. Data quality. So if you don't have good quality, it's going to suck. Timelessness, ensuring the retrieval sources are up to date, especially in rapidly evolving field of cybersecurity. Interpretation, human oversight is necessary to interpret the AI-generated suggestion correctly and to make informed decisions during penetration testing. By integrating RAG into your penetration testing workflow, you can enhance efficiency, stay up to date with the latest threat, and produce more comprehensive assessments. If you're interested in exploring these tools further, all right, cool, awesome. Let's go ahead and do this. How can I build out a ethical hacking RAG using N8N? So you can absolutely build ethical hacking RAG system using NAN, a no-code, low-code workflow automation, nodemation, especially. Ooh, I'm happy Mr. Freckles gone because I would have got attention because I said N8N. It's nodemation. You see, oh my, Junior. I almost got myself in trouble.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Lucky for me that Mr. Freckles had Bible study because I would have been in detention. Because especially when paired with powerful apps, powerful APIs like OpenAI, CVE databases, or custom knowledge bases. Here's a step-by-step guide to building your own RAG-style assistant for ethical hacking and penetration testing using N8N. Let's see. A workflow that takes a query like what vulnerabilities exist in Apache HTTP server, retrieve data from external sources like CVE databases or exploit DB, sends that retrieved data to GPT-4 or Cloud or Mistral via the OpenAI or other node. Let's see. Return a clean summary and recommendation. Step by step. All right, so 10 minutes. Do you guys want to try to build this? You want to start building this? Why not? Let's start building this. I am going to take this to the other screen. That way I can see both at the same time. All right. So we're gonna go to go over here. Where's my mouse? There we go. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go here like that. We're gonna go. There we go. Perfect. So we have. All right. Let me go and do a new workflow. Save this workflow. So new workflow. I said, all right. So let's get started. So we're gonna do a web node. You're gonna see how easy, like, because when I was originally thinking about doing this, like, all right, use a whole bunch of Python. I'm like, let me not do Python tonight. But let's do a webhook node. And for XML calls from your own front end, manual trigger for setting inside NAN. So let's do a manual trigger, because I don't have a place to make a call for it yet. But if let's say in our system we're like we have an endpoint. That's all right. Once they hit this endpoint to say start, it starts the workflow. So we could definitely do that. We can definitely do so when clicking test workflow, so if I click test workflow, it's going to kick it off, right? And you can also, so you can do it through the web node. You can do it through the webhook node, right? Where it's getting pinged and says, all right, start this off. You can do it manually, or you can do it through like a Slack or Telegram bot, where you like send a message to the Slack channel or to I don't know, CyberRag, and then kicks it off. Step 2, take the, let me see if I can make this a little smaller. It's kind of big. Step 2, use one or more of these. HTTP request node to pull from CV API. Scrape or use exploit DB if needed. If they don't have an API, use Nodemation's Puppeteer node to scrape search results or public RSS. Option C, query internal docs or vector DB, which I believe there is a database that we could use for that. If you have your own notes, recon reports, or cheat sheets, store them in Weavate, Pinecone, or Chroma, and call them from Nodemation using custom HTTP requests. Right. So for now, let's go with this HTTP node. Request node. And let's see. Let's say we do, I'm gonna guess it's a get request. And let's see, test step. The node contains 3.8 megabytes of data. Displaying it may slow down your browser temporarily. Ooh, do I want to slow down my browser? What if I do download? Let's download this file just so we can see what's inside of it. It's a JSON. Let me see what we got. What can I open it in? Let's go with WebStorm, I guess. So here's what's part of the download, right? It has all these vulnerabilities. Oops. Has all these vulnerabilities. And it has that response. We can save it somewhere, right? So let's say we have that. I don't want to display the data per se. All right, so we got that. So we have the query. Combine the results. Use merge node to bring together all the different document results. Is there any other document result we can get? Scraper use exploit DB. So what is exploit DB? To scrape search results or public RSS feeds. Let's see what the puppeteer node is. I don't see a puppeteer node. Okay, maybe not. But you see, look at that. It even has WhatsApp Business Cloud access. Like there's so many different things in A10, right? And I have it running locally at that. So let's see. Let's see. Step 3, combine the results. Step 4, send to GPT or LLM APIs. So let's try this one. We don't really need to do a merge because we only have one thing. But what we could do is we don't need to combine. Let's add a HTTP request. And we are going to say post. And I need to get OpenAI's information. Where do I have that? I used a different one actually. I don't know. But let's say we were to pass in this authentication here. We would get the OpenAI endpoint, which I have in a different project. And you can import export files too with this, and they have templates as well. Let me see if I can get the OpenAI API key. This GPT is free. Well, this GPT is free. The GPT that would be used inside of these requests is not free. That is those use API keys, and I get to choose the model that I wanted to use. Let's see if I can get some information. All right, so we're going to use this right here. I don't think that is the credential. So it's a bearer token. I think I have OpenAI one in there. I do. There we go. Boom. So we have that. And then we do, that.
Lunch break. Lunch break.
Well, the other thing that we need to do is the other thing that we would do, go to quick start, is I don't like this particular prop because it doesn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have the system prop in there, but you know, because what we want to do is pass this code in here. Oh, I said use the open AI node though. We could try open AI node instead of the, because in my project I was using the HTTP node. But let's say we delete that and we say open AI, and we go to let's go to message model, and we're going to say text message model prompt and we go here, message model prompt, boom, and search results. So the search results are, all right, I gotta show the data, although I didn't want to. I have to show the data so that I can be able to get that saved field. Yeah. It's a pretty big, it's a three point something megabytes is pretty big to open in the browser, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we have that, right? Or see that? Let's wait for it. All right, there we go. So what I'm gonna do now is wait for it to stop freezing. What just happened here? Just deleted my node. Let's go with message model. Let's go with and here's the thing, like once you actually do this, it becomes it starts making a lot more sense. Let's go with GPT 4.0 mini. If this crashes, then so be it. But the goal would be to get the response for this and then put it into here. I don't know. This is where the generation part of RAG happens. Usually the retrieved info to generate a helpful response. All right. I'll put the answer, Slack, Discord, Telegram. But it is kind of shaky because it's a big file. It's like 4 megs of just straight data. That's a lot. That is a lot. It's freezing the browser, so there's not much you can do about that. What's up, Maddox? How you doing today, Maddox? I can't get it in there. But basically, what I wanted to do was take those results that it passed and put them inside of this message field, and then send that over to GPT to see what it tells us. Whatever. But that's basically the code that we would use to get it in there. All right. Well, that's as far as we're gonna get because it's freezing our browser. Just because it's a lot of data, so we'd have to do it a different way. But we are on. Maybe we'll continue with this next Thursday. But we're basically working on towards creating a RAG, a retrieval augmented generation platform using N8N Nodemation. Almost got sent to detention again, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is. But let's wrap it up with that tonight. Let me check the chat and see what we got going on. Let me see what we're talking about today. We were gonna talk about. Let me see. Oh, it's really freezing the browser now. Let me see if I can stop it. All right, I killed it. It was really freezing the browser, so gotta be careful. I'll find another way to get to it, or we'll just do something else. But that's basically how it works, and it's a lot of data, so you need to have like something powerful to be able to run it in the background, so it's not actually taking up your space. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's see what we got. And Drew says he had a snap. I heard there was snaps involved and not at the U.S. Post Office. Let's see. Ferris said, will you make a video on Trump versus Elon? No. I will not make a video on Trump versus Elon because that would have been on the Saturday morning show, and we don't do the Saturday morning show anymore. So what value would I get out of doing a video on that? All right. Ferris says OWASP is nice. Very cool. And you says, yeah, I heard it. I'm telling you. Just don't tell on me. Don't tell on me, Junior. Please don't tell on me. Let's see. Ferris says build it and maybe I can audit you. What? Auditing. Oh my goodness. Wave Nerd says yes, let's do it. Is this free GPT or paid? It is free 99. Maddox in the building says, hello team. What's up, Maddox? How you doing? How you been? So happy as always to see you. Let's see. Wave Nerd says great stuff. Wave Nerd, you said it was Christmas. I wanted to deliver. Wave Nerd. Let's see. Junior says, what would be more powerful and able to run that in the background? So let's put it like this, right? If my understanding is correct, I don't think that the application needs to be open. Like, I don't need to have a browser open for it to run. I would expect. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wave Nerd, but if I have, let's say I have it set to run at 9 a.m. every day, right? It should just be running it on whatever is hosting it, like the Docker container. It should be triggering at 9. So by running it in the background, the only reason that it's not working is because of the browser can't handle opening that big of a file, right? But if it's running in the background, it should be able to process that and send it over to GPT, and then send the information back, give all the details, stuff like that. So that's what I think is happening. Let's see. Junior says, Miss Freckles is a part of the rewatch gang. She'll see it for herself. What you're saying is I should go after the show. I should go into the studio and say, take off these words, mute these words when I said N8N, but I was supposed to say nodemation. The things that you see, look at that. I feel like I just escaped. I just did a jailbreak, because now I'm like, all right, how can I hide? How can I hide me being delinquent to Miss Freckles by saying N8N when I said I was supposed to be saying nodemation? My goodness, you see how fast we go down the wrong path. It can go left like that. 1 minute you can be watching a video to make some content, and then the next minute you have a thumbnail with your shirt off, and now Tech Coach Ralph is making fun of you on the internet, right? It's things that escalated quickly, right? That escalated quickly. Let's see. Junior says, so what browser would be able to open it with no? I don't think there's any particular browser that can open it with no issues, because it's trying to load it in memory as opposed to just downloading it somewhere else, right? So any browser would have that issue, which you wouldn't want, which makes it kind of hard to build it, to be honest with you, because if you don't have the information, so I'd have to think about that, how to actually build it. I mean, I can just say, let's do this. Let's just do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's go and say when I try to pull from CVE. Oh, maybe it's because I'm trying to get everything instead of just querying for something in particular. That might be it. Let's try that real quick. So let's say we go here. Let's say we update our query to be like that. Test. Okay, so that's a lot faster, because so it was trying to get like everything, which wasn't going to work well, but we're able to get by querying for a particular thing that we're looking for. So we can do different queries with specific things that we might need, and then we'll get the data that way. So while we're here, we got that. Let's say we throw in an open AI. We say message and model. We say text message model. Let's do mini. And we say this one right here. So now it's not going to find this, because we need to go and say I take that out. I drop that in there. And now I have what it needs to look up, right? So if let's go ahead and test this step. Now it gives me information here about it, and then I can output that somewhere else, right? But it gives me the information. I can output it to a file, have it save, and now we can take a look at the details and stuff like that. I could, oh my God. I was supposed to be wrapping it up, right? But I cannot help myself. I cannot help myself. So if we say add another node, upload, or say Google Drive, and let's say create a file from text, and we say Google Drive account, file, create file. Let's go here. Let's wire that to here.
Real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
All right. Give me a second here. Boom. And let's test that step. Now. Look at that. Google Drive. Like that. Just like that. So now we can have a bunch of let me see something. We can have a bunch of different sources that it's gathering it from to create a comprehensive report. We could even do Markdown. Trying to think how I would have it convert from Markdown, but whatever. That's not like that doesn't matter. But basically, we got the text in there, right? And then there's probably a way to have Google Drive read the Markdown code, right? But there we go. There it is right here. Simple as that. Simple as that, right? Great. Thank you for making me look back into that, Junior. I really appreciate that because I was like, and we just had to query the things that we're looking for specifically because you don't need to query everything if you're not using everything, right? So if you're using Apache servers and you want to query for Apache, if you're using Node, you want to query for Node, you know? Very cool stuff. Let's see. Junior says, always finding ways to cover up. I'm not proud of myself, but I got to, all right? I'm just saying. Rod Brown with the what does that face mean, Rod Brown? Shirt off. All right, Junior, let me help you out, Junior. I'm gonna help you out. Just to make sure, moderators cannot remove what the channel owner puts in the chat, right? Just want to confirm real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna drop a video for you in the chat, Junior. Let's see. Where is that video? Let me see. I'm gonna find it for you, Junior. Just give me a second. Can't be too far. There I go. I found it. Only 52 views for that video? That is not fair. All right, there you go, Junior. I'm just gonna leave it here for you. I'm just gonna leave it here. There you go. What else do we got? So basically, bite size instead of everything at once. They still need a faster browser for those who deal with larger files. That's the thing. You shouldn't be dealing with large files in a browser because it should just download at that point. That's what it gave. It said like, do you want to download the file? Or do you want us to try to open it? And I said try to open it, and it crashed. it's like large files are meant to be downloaded, not to be opened in memory, because it's just gonna crash your browser. Just Rod with the faces again. I don't know what's going on. And Junior's like, what are you sending? What are you sending? Anyways, that's it for tonight, you guys. That is it for tonight. Did you guys learn something? I learned a lot about RAG. Makes so much more sense. Retrieval augmented generation, on how it looks for the information from different sources and databases, and then it sends it off to generate proper content based on the research that you've fed it, what you set it up to do. All right. But that's it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it so much for tuning in. Do me a favor on our way out. If you have not done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. Go to techotrap.dev, sign up for exclusive content. We're doing a lot. Right? We're doing a lot. I'm going to let you guys lead me into building the next application. I will fund it. And but you guys have to tell me what you want built, and we'll do it together. We shall do it together. Last but not least, Junior says I'll make 53. And Junior also says, I see what you're saying. Download and say, yep, download instead. For like big files, you would definitely want it. It's like if you try to open a 1 gig file to like some movie in the browser, it'll actually try to open it in QuickTime to kind of stream it that way after the file is downloaded, but it's going to be hard. So that's why it's better to download and play it locally than trying to get it from the browser. And Ross says, I learned that Tech Coach Ralph is petty. What petty? Who are you calling petty, Rod Brown? We love Rod Brown over here. You guys go subscribe to Rod, at Rod-Brown on YouTube. He is an amazing content creator. Love to see his growth, love to see success. I'm always happy when I see him around because he is such a cool guy. All right. But I still mess with him because it's fun. It's just fun. It is just fun. All right. Anyways, that's it for today. Junior says, great show as always. Thank you so much, Junior. And I appreciate you being here as well.
I appreciate you.
Let me check the leaderboard, by the way. Who is winning today? Junior is number 1, Wave Nerd is number 2, and Rod Brown is number 3. And Miss Freckles is number 4, but she had to leave early. Ferris number 5. Ferris is also number 6. Does that make Ferris number 1? If Ferris is number 5 and 6, does that make him number 1? Magnetar is number 7, and Roxy is number 8. All right, well, I'm out of here. You guys have an amazing night. Techodrauf, we are out.
Goodbye, crabs in the barrel, no more dragging me low. Turn my back on the sorrow, watch how strong I'll grow. I'm waving from the shoreline as I head for the sun. Life is calling me forward, now the journey's begun. Thanks so much, but it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, bye-bye. I've gotta go and live my life. Tangled in their web of lies, chasing shadows in disguise. Thought they had my back for sure, realized they're wanting more. Walking away Some shadows past me I've outgrown. They clung to my dreams while they polished their own stone. Thought they had my back, but they were pulling me down. Goodbye to the crabs, I'm leaving this tired town. Pulling me down deep below. In a barrel anger grows, crabs in corners seeking light, only find the darkest night. They laughed while I stumbled, fed doubts to my mind. Mirror reflected faces of a different kind. Chains made of whispers didn't let me fly free. Now I'm breaking loose, leaving shells in the sea. Goodbye crabs, I'm walking free, 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 free. Done with all your misery. I'm so done. Watching dreams fade one by one, fading one by one. I won't stop till I'm gone, till I'm gone. Climbing out of pits of doubt, turn my back, no looking out. Past the sorrow, past the pain, leave your echoes in the rain. Every step I take now feels light on my feet. No more anchors pulling me down to deceit. Echoes of freedom in the beat of my heart. From the weight of the past I am ready to part. Thanks so much, but it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, bye, bye. Goodbye, bye, bye, bye. I've gotta go and live my life. Live, live, live. The path ahead is lonely, but my spirit's alive. No more shadows around me, no more tales to contrive. Rising above from the deep darkest blue. Farewell to the crabs, I've got new skies to view.